Hi, I'm John, Heirloom Permaculture. Welcome back to Permaculture Tools. In this episode, I'm going to show you the number one most important tool for building your permaculture homestead. Homesteads vary in size, just like homesteaders' toolboxes. But the size of your homestead or the amount of tools in your box don't define how successful you are as a homesteader or whether or not you're a homesteader at all. The number one tool in your toolbox for building your permaculture homestead is always right by your side. So everybody's got one, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's your shadow. So in our other series, teaching permaculture, we're going to go through the ethics and principles. The number one principle is observe and interact. And what better way to observe your homestead than to actually get out there and walk across the whole thing and see what do you have, what do you not have, how does the water flow, how does the sun interact, what plants do you have, what do you not have, all of the things you need to learn that just by moving around in your day-to-day chores or whatever, you probably overlook a lot of it. So I think one of the most important things that you can have in your toolbox is you. By getting out there and actually moving around and looking at your homestead very intentionally and seeing all the things that you may have overlooked. So this may sound kind of silly, but it's critically important to building your permaculture homestead. And I think that's why it's the first principle of permaculture is observe and interact. And we'll get into more detail about that in a following video in our permaculture teaching series. But I wanted to get this out in your permaculture tools as early as possible, because now's the time to start observing your property or whatever it is you're working on to apply permaculture to. Because you really need to observe it for a full year if you can. You need to see it through all 4 seasons. So get out there, let your shadow cast on every bit of your property and walk around and look at things intentionally. Look at them a little different than you normally do so that you don't overlook things. Look at the wildlife, look at the plant life, look at how things interact, look where things are thriving, where they're struggling. What do you have, what are you lacking, and where do you want to apply things before you actually get started? What do you want to do? Where will things work? Where will they not? So this tool is free. You already have it. You don't have to go buy it. All it's going to cost you is your time, but it's going to have a higher return than just about anything else you can do. So if you need, grab you a piece of paper and a pencil and get out there and start walking around. Take some notes. Be detailed. What day is it? What time of day? What's the weather like? What are you seeing? If it gets down to the detail of, I need to know how far do shadows cast out? How's that going to affect what plants I put in that area? All those things. But to do that, you've got to spend the time actually on foot covering every bit of your property. And you'll actually find that it's pretty enjoyable, and you'll learn all types of things that you never noticed. It's another tool for your toolbox, another permaculture tool, and I think one of the most important, and luckily it's one of the cheapest. And remember, this isn't something you do only once. You need to do this several times throughout the year, is walk the property and notice what's changed from season to season, because it takes a full year to observe all of the changes on your property and how you need to react to those. So come back and see us on the next episode. We'll bring you more permaculture tools to put in your toolbox.